Hi, it's John again. Welcome back to my office. Today we want to talk a little bit about wood hunts and what a wood hunt really is. I mean, a wood hunt can be a place where I go in Europe. It can be a nice down-home place in northern Michigan, Upper Peninsula, someplace like that. You know, there are times when I go out with my wife and we meet a mentor of mine that takes us around through the woods. We kind of sneak out there. These trails and roads really don't have names. And we get out there and there's these old guys out there, you know, just having a cigarette or something and just sitting around talking about what they just found. They just found some bird's eye. I remember this one time we were looking at this bird's eye and my wife is out there just walking around. She loves nature. She loves animals. And we're all talking about the newest, latest, you know, log that's lying there. And she walks over and she pulls a piece of bark back. She found the mother lode of bird's eye. I'll never forget this moment. It was one of the greatest logs we've ever had. And my wife Esther found it. So she's a certified wood hunter as well, I guess. But some of these places are just like that, you know, a canopy out there in the forest with, you know, all the animals and the bugs and stuff that's, you know, that makes up the ecosystem. And we're out there looking at those logs, and those are the ones that we'll select to be our, you know, our regular maple and birch for our regular production. When we buy maple, we like to buy it in the fall and the winter time, if at all possible. Well, before it gets to be snowed in Michigan. And the reason for that is in the summertime, all the sugar is running up the log. They put in taps, you get maple syrup out of that. That's how that happens. In the wintertime or in the fall, let's say, all the sugar runs out of the log. That's when we want to take that tree and you get much nicer, clean, white sapwood, which is what we're looking for when we're building, you know, our regular maple drum kits. Now, closer to the center of the log is where you have the heart of the tree. For example, when we rotary cut, let's say an 18-inch maple log that's 8 feet long, how long do you think that takes to turn until it gets down to a post like this where it can't be turned anymore? 46 seconds. Now 46 seconds is bloody fast, but I mean, these are really precision knives. There's these big huge lathes that are cutting this. That's how we do the rotary cut maple. Certain logs are flat sliced. Some of them are rotary cut. There's all kinds of different looks. For example, you can get cherry wood that is flat sliced and it has a cathedral look about it, okay? But if you rotary cut cherry, the patterns get bizarre. They get really wild and crazy, and that's the stuff that I really like to put on the outside of cherry drums. Well, when I was making some drum kits out of what I called spider pine, we would chuck up these knotty pine logs and turn them really nice and slow to retain the knots inside the veneer itself. So you can't spin that fast or else the knots will be flying everywhere. We do this with a degree of responsibility where we don't just go in and take. They don't take anything but mature trees. And these guys will take these down and do it in such a way that you never even know that they were there. We give back to the American Forest Program. And that's very important because they go back and they are planting trees in Indian reservations and all over the United States. It's a good, responsible way to give back to our ecosystem. There's actually more American hardwoods today than there was in 1940. I know that's hard to understand, and it doesn't seem like it could possibly be true, but it is. That's a statistic. There are other types of wood hunts where we'll go to find just the veneer form. When we go over to Europe, it's typically going through Germany. There's a couple places I really like to go to and frequent over there. There's a place in France. We also have this unbelievable place right outside of Milan near the Como Lakes. That's where I get my olive ash burl. I got to hand select each bit of it because it has to be just so wide, it's got to be so long, and it's got to be the look I'm looking for. I like to do that myself. I don't like to leave that up to anyone else because it's all on me. And so far I've been doing pretty good with this material. The good part is when I do run out of olive ash burl, got to go back to Como again. So that creates a whole nother trip, a whole nother adventure, And you know, it's when I find these pieces and the people who get me to these places, they become tremendous, not only mentors, but really, really good friends of mine. It used to be when I would go in the past that you know, they'd say, you like that log, John? Well, that's going to be 7,000 square feet. Oh, you like that one over there? That's about 5,500 square feet. I'd come back to America with like 3 or 4 logs, and my bookkeeper would lose her mind saying, you bought how much material? Because let's not forget, in a drum set, a typical size drum set, your outer veneer, which could be, you know, your exotic, is only going to add up to about 40 square feet. So if I'm buying 7,000 square feet of any given wood, that's going to last me a long, long time. Well, since I've gotten to know these folks, and you know, you get to know their wives, you get to know their kids, you're invited to their homes for dinners, and you get to really know them as friends. Throughout the years, they've actually let me, John, just take out a fillet here and there, instead of buying the whole log. So that's kind of how the gallery has gotten to the point that it's at. I've got 37 different exotic woods at this point. That doesn't mean I've got 7,000 square feet of this or 5,000 square feet of that. Some of it is enough for 10 drum sets. When we build you one of these kits, it's not just a drum set that you're going to use for a year and maybe sell. I mean, at least I hope not. I'm hoping for bigger things, that these become family heirlooms. Something that you pass down to your son or daughter and you keep in the family. And maybe they pass on to their children as well. So the adventure of a wood hunt encompasses an awful lot of different things, a lot of emotions and a lot of beauty and places where we get to go where a lot of you might not get a chance to see. But believe me, I'm taking you there with me when I'm bringing back all these beautiful woods, and we're doing this together. So enjoy the gallery of beautiful exotic woods and join me on a wood hunt one of these days. Don't ever say never. We could do it together.